Macros, Mindset, and Muscles.
I'm Coach James.
And I'm Coach Brittany.
We're here to give you the truth about health and fitness.
No gimmicks, no bullshit, just facts. Good morning, Phoenix fam.
Early morning for us.
It is not an early morning for us.
Well, they don't know that.
Well, they do because I'm telling them.
3 a.m.
No, it is 9:30 a.m. Our time right now. So depending on where you are, it might be an early morning for you. But if you're listening to this episode, it could be really early because it releases at midnight.
Oh, that's true.
It could be late if you listen to it on your commute home.
12:01 a.m.
So I guess it's subjective to when you're listening.
Subjective. I like the way you speak. Using words.
I word good.
You word good.
So we have an awesome topic today. We're going to tell you all about how lifting weights makes you bulky.
God, I hate when that happens.
So annoying when that happens. Like you just pick up a weight and bam, you're bulky.
Oh, the shirts start ripping out, the shoulders.
Yeah,
and
your
the
sleeves, like you're just busting out them. You got to cut them all off.
Veins are everywhere. Like
it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
All right. In case you guys can't tell, we're completely being sarcastic.
100%.
Lifting weights does not make you bulky. That is an absolute fucking myth.
Yeah, I actually wish it did.
It would be so much easier to do bodybuilding if it did happen like that.
I've been trying for 6 years to get bulky.
Yeah,
still not there.
That's the thing. You see a lot of women think about weightlifting, and then they think about women bodybuilders, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, if I lift weights, that's what I'm going to look like," and it just does not happen like that. Those women train for years upon years. They go through like big cycles of cutting and bulking, to improve their body composition. There's performance enhancement drugs, testosterone, androgen.
They've got all kinds of
anabolics.
Yeah.
Wrong and word. Anyways, there's other things that go into having a woman get that bulky.
Yeah.
And, even like simple steroid use and stuff doesn't result in those kind of like muscle gains.
No.
So it takes a ton of work to get there. Now what's funny though is like most women, when they start working with us or when they start on a journey, to lose, let's say they want to lose weight, right?
Yeah.
What's their ultimate goal? They want to look toned. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And as professionals, like we all hate using the word tone, but it is a word that most women understand. Like when you say, oh, you want to look tone or whatever, like they have this image in their mind of how they would look. And typically it is a athletic appearance. They want to look leaner. So they want to have less body fat and they want to have muscular definition.
Yeah.
Well, in order to look tone, you have to have muscle.
Muscles.
In order to have muscular definition, you have to have muscle. So you can't be tone without having muscle. Period. Period. Is that all you're going to do today? Is just give me the sound effect?
Yeah, I'll throw in one-liners or one-worders in there. I mean, you've been going. I mean, I'm not going to interrupt you.
I know, but sometimes I like your input.
Well, I completely agree. I mean, it's a leaner body type with muscular definition, and that's what they mean when they say tone.
Yeah.
So
you can't get there without lowering your body fat and increasing your muscle mass.
Yeah.
Increasing your muscle mass doesn't mean you're going to be a bodybuilder.
No.
It just is not that easy. So a lot of people I'm not going to say people, a lot of women will avoid weightlifting because of this fear, because they're afraid to get bulky. And like, I know personally, like I was one of those women at one point, someone would be like, oh, you should lift weights. I'm like, I don't want to get bulky. I just want to tone up.
Right.
Well, by definition, like what you want, you got to weight lift to get there. And it just comes from like lack of like knowledge or information. Like there's always bad information being spread. And there's still people out there that will say lifting weights will make you bulky as a woman. But the truth, like it couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah, I mean, and from a guy's perspective, there's not too many guys that are like, I want to be toned. That's not
Yeah, they're like, I
it's
want to
not
be
a term that
jacked,
we get
I want
that
to
we
be
use.
buff.
It's like I want to get bulky. Yeah, yeah, I want to get bulky too.
Yeah.
I want to put on muscle, and essentially what they're saying is the same thing. I want to put on muscle, and I want a leaner physique. It's just two different ways of going about saying it. Now there are some guys that want to get much larger in size, and that's a whole nother ball game. But for the average person, they're looking to have the same. They have the same goals, just different words of describing it.
It's so funny too, because like women and men, right? When we were talking about like goals, right? Like a man will typically be like, I want to get bigger, right?
Yeah,
And a man will correlate that bigness. And what they really mean by bigger is they want to look more ripped,
yeah, more
right? So they
muscular.
think that a ripped body means that they're bigger. But then it's like trying to educate them the same way we have to educate women. Like with women, we have to educate them that the scale is not everything, that you can be a smaller woman, you can be a fitter woman, you can wear smaller clothes, and you can weigh more than you did when you started. With a man, it's like, look, bro, like I know that you're like so obsessed with getting bigger, but just because the scale is going up, it doesn't mean that you're getting bigger.
Yeah,
Because I know like when we first met, you were like, I want to weigh X amount of pounds,
yeah,
and it was like breaking that mindset that like weighing a certain amount doesn't mean that you're going to look bigger, like you're going to have more body fat.
yeah, yeah. That was really something I had to learn on my own early on in this, and that was just because I had an ideal look in my head, and it was like Captain America, and like I knew how much he weighed in the movie, and we were close in height. So in my head, it's like, all right, if I get to this weight, then I'm as long as I'm working out, I'm gonna look similar. And it was not even close. Look like Captain Fat Man.
So it's just funny, like how it's so like different, like it's the same, but in different ways for women and men, like women wanting to get smaller, look smaller, but being so afraid of the scale going up, and vice versa. Like a guy doesn't always understand that getting more ripped doesn't make them bigger. It just means that your muscles show more because you don't have body fat.
Yeah.
And that's typically what they want. It's not.
Well, and a lot of guys is, they want to be bigger, they want to be stronger, and then they want to be lean. But typically, you can't have all three of those at once. You can pick two of them. You can be, big and strong, but you won't be lean. You can be lean and strong, but you won't be big. Like you have to be a genetic. I don't want to say freak, but
An outlier.
An outlier with a lot of help to achieve all three of those.
Okay, so we totally went on a side note here, but anyways,
that's what I do best.
Going back to talking about like women in particular.
Yeah, sorry, dudes.
Lifting weights does not make you bulky, and you absolutely should be weightlifting in your journey, in your exercise regimen. It should be a part of your life for long-term health, and we're going to talk about some reasons why.
All right, let's talk about
it. Number one, obviously, we're going to go ahead and go right into this, is like it increases your lean mass, which is what gives you that fit look that you want. The more muscle mass you have, the like more definition you have, right? Even if your body fat stays the same, like you can look more toned with a little bit more body fat, like if you have more muscle, because
gives it shape,
because of the shape of the muscle, like the fat that sits on top of it, like kind of outlines the muscle. Number two, when you lift weights, you get more confident, because you get more fit. You start seeing muscles, you see your body change, you feel good, maybe your booty's a little bit more plump because you've been lifting some weights and it's not saggy. You don't got saggy booty no more.
Clothes fit well.
Your clothes fit good. You see that little line in your shoulders or whatever,
If you feel good doing something to better yourself, like mentally.
So it increases your confidence and it makes you feel good about you. And confidence is sexy. You know, when you're confident, like your head is held higher and you put off this energy to people around you and they're like, "Oh wow, like he's she looks really good," or "He looks awesome," or like they're really positive, whatever the case may be. Like the confidence, it spreads to the people around you.
Hmm.
And you can help uplift others that way too. Number 3, reason why you should be lifting weights is because it improves your strength for everyday life.
Everyday life.
Everyday life. And this carries on throughout the ages, as well. If you're lifting weights, like there's functional movements in everyday life that, like doing specific exercises in the gym will help you with. Like when you're squatting, everybody squats every single day. Like I hate when people come to me and they're like, I can't squat because my knees hurt. Well, how do you get down on the toilet?
Yeah.
How do you sit in a chair? How do you sit on the couch? In order to get in that position, like you have to squat down. Like it might not be a full range squat, but it's a squat.
You're doing something.
Like deadlifting. If you bend over to pick something up, like a laundry basket, you're hinging your hips. It's a deadlift type movement. If you have to put something up on a high shelf, or maybe you're like me and you're short and everything you do, you have to reach. You have to get stuff off the top of the fridge or whatever, like shoulder pressing, incline chest press. Those movements translate because you're lifting something over your head. You're pressing that up and that helps you in everyday life.
Yeah.
Maybe you're traveling on an airplane
Oh, we
and
saw this one.
you have to put your suitcase in the overhead bin. How are you going to do that if you don't have the strength to do it? You have to
Ask a stranger.
Ask a stranger to help you, which most people will help you, but then you lose that independence, for yourself, which can also be like a hit to the confidence and the ego because it's like, dang, I can't even lift my little carry-on above my head.
Yeah, and it like you said, it does transfer to like all aspects of your life. One of our clients, one of my clients, all of a sudden was caring for their parent and was having to move them, from the bed into a wheelchair to like a potty chair and things like that. And was just talking about like how much weightlifting has helped because if she had not been doing that, like she might not have been able to move her on her own and things like that. Like she's very proud. And like, that's a proud moment for me. Like, being able to take care of your family. I mean, that's the end goal. That's the whole reason we do this is take care of yourself and your family.
Yeah. To be active.
To be active and be able to do things as you
age.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, I think that's the number one reason why people should weightlift is to increase strength for everyday life. Even though I have it at number 3, whatever. But anyways, you don't realize like you are in complete control of the type of life you live. Yes, you may have all the stress in the world. You may have issues that you're dealing with, but how you take care of your body is 100% in your control.
100%.
Just because you have the option for convenience and to be lazy doesn't mean that you should do it. You absolutely can if that's how you choose to do it. But then when you're older and, you have to walk with a walker or you can't get from point A to B without being out of breath or, hitting an inhaler, whatever the case may be, like you get to control that to an extent because a lot of these issues are brought on by lifestyle choices. They're brought on by your dietary choices and they're brought on by whether or not you exercise and you strength train.
I want to stay as active as I can.
I do too. Like, I don't want to live. So, we're young, like we work our asses off to get to retirement and then you retire and then what? You just spend your life doing nothing because you're so, you're so like febrile.
Yeah. I don't want to be that guy that's calling little Johnny down the street, every time I need something moved around the house or out of the yard. Like I know this is mainly towards women, but as a man, like I want to do stuff. Like if there's something out in the yard, like I want to pick up that mulch. I want to move it. I want to be the man for my wife,
And I think, even as women, like there's things that we like to do. Like I don't want to have to ask for help doing everyday stuff or something that I enjoy doing. Our client Dealey, like she's 66 this year, or she'll be 67 in August. But she has a huge garden that she tends to every summer, and she loves that she doesn't need help. She can pick up, the bags of soil. She can squat down and stay in a squatted,
Yeah.
a deep squat position doing her gardening. And she doesn't need help with that stuff because she's strong and she lifts weights. And, her bone density over the last several years has stayed the same, which we'll get into bone density in a minute. But lifting weights is good for you long term.
In every aspect.
In every aspect. The number 4 reason why you should be lifting weights as a woman is it's going to help increase your metabolism. Right? The truth is like when you have more body fat, your metabolism is slower. If you have more muscle mass, it helps your metabolism.
Which means you get to eat more.
Yes. Now, it's not like a crazy amount, like, oh my gosh, I have more muscle and then bam, like you're a fat burning machine. Like that's not the reality for everybody. But every little bit does help when it's something that you struggle with. So, with your metabolism, if you're not lifting weights and you're just constantly focused on cardio and eating less, like you're doing yourself a disservice, and you're actually probably getting fatter as you lose weight. And I don't like to say you're getting fatter, but this is the easiest way for me to put this. And by getting fatter, I just mean that your like ratio of lean mass to body fat gets less. So you actually lose lean mass and your body fat stays high. So as you lose weight, because you haven't prioritized strength training and you haven't been lifting weights, even though the scale tells you you're weighing less, you're not getting leaner.
Mm-mm.
And that's where the word skinny fat comes into play.
That term.
I mean, it's something that we all are familiar with. Like
that was me.
Yeah, I've been there
that
too.
Was me. That's where I started.
And that was why I started lifting weights, because when I started my journey, it was like, oh, I got to do lots of cardio. And I was afraid to lift weights because I didn't want to get bulky. And then I got to my quote unquote goal weight and I didn't look anything like I thought I'd look like because I didn't prioritize strength training. And my body, like I looked the same. I just weighed less.
Yeah. Like when I started, like I was just skinny, and then like there was low lean mass and excess body fat, and it was not a pleasant look. Like looking back, like at the time I didn't consider myself that, but now like looking back and other people like, hey, you're just like me, skinny fat. I was like, oh, that's what I was. Thank you. I thought I was just normal guy.
But it's something that you learn too, like with experience and as you go through the process and you actually get like education on stuff, instead of just believing what you've always believed to be true.
Yeah.
You hear all these things, and for the longest time, like, toxic information has been put out and we're all combating it every day. But, when you've had these same things drilled into your head for so long, like it's hard to think that there's something out there. You start thinking that there's something wrong with you and that's why it's not working or whatever the case is, but definitely metabolic increases are another good reason to, lift weights. And when we're talking about that too, cardio, right? When you do cardio, you have a increased metabolism momentarily, like when you're doing cardio. But as soon as you stop doing cardio, that higher calorie burn also stops. When you're lifting weights, you get an increased metabolic burn throughout the whole day. So because you're stimulating, your muscles and whatnot, you get a higher calorie burn. And once you stop lifting weights, after your session, like you continue burning at a higher rate each day.
Lifting weights good.
Yeah. So
weight's good.
Lift weights.
Run bad.
Number 5 reason why you should be lifting weights as a woman is it increases your bone density. This is important because how many times have you heard of a family member or somebody has a family member that fell and they broke their hip, or something to that nature. Like it happens, especially when people get older, they age. And that's why things like Life Alert
Yeah.
came around, because
Help me, I'm falling. I
yeah.
can't get up.
So, do you want to be that person that has an accident and you fall and you shatter your hip?
Yeah.
Like that's the reality of it.
And that's another role of muscles is to protect your skeletal system. Like the more muscle you have, the less chances
And
of
of
it.
course, like bone density, comes from nutrition too. So like if you're not giving your body the nutrition that it needs, especially protein to help build up all the cells in your body, not only are you like malnourished, but then you have like a lower bone density because you don't lift weights. So it's just like a perfect combination, for these severe breaks.
Yeah.
And that sucks. It's, bone density decreases with age. It's part of the process. Even if you lift weights, like you're still going to have a decrease in bone density more than likely. There are some outliers that don't.
Muscle mass too. So if you're not training, if you're not doing something to continuously building muscle, like resistance training, you are losing muscle as you age.
Yep. And cardio doesn't build muscle.
No.
It does help your heart muscle. But in terms of like muscle on your arms and your legs and, in your core, like it doesn't build that. So it does improve your cardiovascular health, but it does not help your muscle.
Mm-hmm.
So number 6, final reason why you should be lifting weights as a woman is because it helps increase your energy throughout the day, which can help improve your mood.
Does this help yours? When's it going to start?
So the truth is a lot of people will be like, oh, I just can't work out because I have no energy. But here's the thing that most people don't understand. Like, yeah, you don't have energy right now because you actually don't exercise.
Yeah.
If you did start exercising, you did start lifting weights, your energy would naturally increase.
Your body's not going to give you a whole bunch of energy for you to just sit around all the time.
Well, yeah, because it has no need for it.
Right.
Like it's already adapted to that lower energy and expenditure, so you're not burning as many calories. But if you, start working out and your metabolism increases, your body's like it needs more energy.
Like, all right, get up. We got to do stuff.
Yep. Awesome. Those
Great.
are 6 reasons.
Boom, boom, boom. Knocked it out. We're getting pretty good at this. In case we have to redo it 3 times.
I know. It's like I don't want to like ramble too much because God forbid we have to record it multiple times.
Hey, we did well.
So overall, like just know that lifting weights absolutely like is for everyone. It doesn't matter if you're 20 or you're 70. Like it's never too late to start lifting weights, and it's beneficial for everybody.
Yeah, I just had this talk with my dad.
Yeah.
Yesterday, and so get him on a plan.
Yeah, it really is. And it doesn't have to be excessive. Like you don't have to lift weights 5-6 days a week, 2 to 3 times a week is fine.
Yeah.
3 would be ideal, but everybody's life is different and 2 days is better than no days. So keep that in mind when you're trying to, devise a plan for yourself, or you feel like you can't start lifting because you can't dedicate 5 days to it. Like something is always better than nothing. And this is what I always preach like to my clients. Of course there are times when you should do nothing, like when you're struggling to recover, maybe you're sick or whatever. Like don't push for more, but you need to know like what is reasonable for your routine, your schedule, and, knowing the difference between that and when you need a break, which is a topic for a whole nother day.
Yeah. Tune in next time.
Or
maybe the time after that.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. We don't really like plan these out. We just like, hey, what do you want to talk about today?
Yeah.
That's how these go.
But if you have a request, you can hit us up on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook group and let us know, and we'll definitely throw it out there.
We'll always take suggestions. It's funny, we decided to start a podcast. If you guys haven't been listening long or whatever, if you don't know us, we decided to start a podcast because we would literally sit there and have these conversations
all the time.
All the time. Like we would sit there for 30 to 60 minutes and we would talk about a specific topic. And then one day we're like, we should start a podcast.
Yeah, maybe somebody else would like to chime in on this.
And then we would have clients asking us questions, and it's always the same type of questions. And you know, when it comes to certain things, like the answers stay the same. Like when it's generalized information, you know, it's not specific to the client. So why not do podcast topics, like recordings on these topics, so that it's easily
accessible to our clients and everyone else.
Hey, we did a podcast episode on that. You should listen to it.
Clearly, it's information that more people could benefit from. So throw it out there.
Yep.
And the masses.
And that's how it came about.
The birth of macro
mindset
and muscles of Coach Brittany and every other word from James. Small words.
Small words.
Funny words.
Like the peanut gallery.
Yeah.
Like the sound effects, but not, you know, we don't have to push a button for your sound effects. They're just there.
Well, I'm just here so you don't feel lonely.
Yeah. Well, it helps, you know, because it's funny. Like I always say, like I could just do these by myself, but then I wouldn't be able to look at your handsome face while I'm doing this.
I mean, I could do them by myself. I could have did this whole podcast. It'd have been like, lifting weights good. Tune in next time. Lift weights helps body. Good on body. See you next time. Coach James.
All right. So I guess that's the end of our episode.
I'd probably talk about you the whole podcast, what I really would do. But guess what Brittany did? And she did things that I'm going to sit here by myself. That's fine. I can do it by myself.
Just like when you cook your meals by yourself, right?
That's for another talk. We'll talk about that another time. Anyway.
All right.
Good podcast.
Great podcast. We hope it helps you ladies. Please don't be scared of lifting the weights.
Pick them up, put them down.
Yep. Be the badass that you were always meant to be. And until next time.
Coach James.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Macros, Mindset, and Muscles. Until next time.
I'm James.
I'm Brittany. We're out.